Our apologies. We had audio issues until the 1 minute and 46-second mark. You can access the transcript for the full text.
There are a lot of challenges with this ecosystem. The first is just Murphy's Law. 350 websites means that there's a lot of variation in content and user needs, and the odds that something will break with a deployment, no matter how much QA or testing that we do. Then there are the challenges that come with maintaining and adding features to two code bases. This translated to a pretty rocky sprint and deployment process for us. We were always asking ourselves, which sprint are we on? What's ready to deploy? Do site editors need to know what we're going to deploy? And if they did, how would we tell them? We thought to ourselves that there's got to be a
So if you're in the session, spoiler alert, it's automations. Automations can help keep your sprints on the right track. We learned this by realizing where we had holes in our process that we needed to fill. And we needed to figure out how we can have our tools help us and not just figure out how to use our tools. And things that throw us off are things that a lot of universities go through. It's moratoria at the beginning and the end of the semester, sometimes during the year with registration. There's often emergencies, there's outages, people go on leave. So things that can help us, as we have here, there's automations. We need a simple at-a-glance overview to see what's going on at any given time during our sprints. So with that, we have reminders and repeaters that can help us keep track. We have snoozers so that when we don't need to look at something right away, we can keep out the clutter. So it's not important at the moment. We hide it out of sight. We keep a lot of standardization, and it's easy to know immediately what we can use. We know who's working on what. We have custom fields in our tasks to know what that standardization is. We can use those custom fields as hooks for the automations. We also have what we call kickoff automation buttons, and that is exactly what it sounds. It's a kickoff a series of tasks, and those things save us time. It also reduces the risk of anyone forgetting a step, and again, it keeps that standardization so that everything moves smoothly. With also task assignments, we also know who's working on what. That helps with accountability. It also goes back to that simple overview so we know who's working on what at any given moment and what tasks are being worked on. Back to what Danielle said about editors, we have release notes and documentation so we can get information to editors when we have a deployment so they know what has been worked on. If we fixed a bug, that they report it to us. With all of these tools that we use, there's also add-ons, power-ups, app integrations that can help us fill any of those needs that we have. And as a team, we like to work with a balance between having fun with some of the tools that we use and also that standardization that helps us keep on track. And this is just a small sampling of some of the things that help us. Two tools that we use on our team are GitHub and Trello. We have GitHub projects, which has some automations there, and there's some automated automations. So if you start a project board, it's Kanban style, and when you start that, it asks you if you want just a standard automation there, or you can set it up to how you work with your issues and pull requests. With Butler and Trello, you can start from scratch by setting up any automations or scripts that you have, or after you use your boards for a while, it'll start to recommend some automations that it thinks might be able to help save you time based on how you use the boards. And with both of these things, there's some pretty cool integrations that work between GitHub and Trello, or you can set up some other tools that can help you as well. And there's a bunch of cool stuff that does a bunch of cool things. You don't have to take our word for it. What you need to do is to find a way that works with your team's habits. You don't want to force your team to learn a new method or a new tool. If you try to do that, you're running the risk of abandoning a method or a tool because you feel like it doesn't work for your team if you try to force a new habit. So it doesn't matter which tools you use, it's best to find the ones that are right for your team. And there are a plethora of those out there. And those tools are the ones that will help your sprints work smarter.
And that's it for our lightning talk. Reed and I shared our contact information on this last slide. We hope you'll stay in touch. We also invite you to submit the feedback form for this session. We would really appreciate your comments. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.